Have you ever wondered about the profound shifts in labor systems that occurred in early American colonies, transforming a diverse workforce into one based almost entirely on race and perpetual bondage? Black people became chattel slaves in the Americas through a gradual, yet deliberate, legal and social process that systematically stripped them of their humanity and rights, transforming them from laborers and indentured servants into inheritable property. The core reason for this devastating shift lies in a confluence of economic imperatives, racial prejudice, and evolving legal frameworks. As staple crops like tobacco and sugar became incredibly profitable in the American colonies, there was an insatiable demand for a permanent, exploitable labor force. English colonists, already accustomed to class hierarchies, began to associate blackness with servitude. This was further solidified by a series of legal enactments. Initial arrivals of Africans often held a status similar to indentured servants, but colonial assemblies swiftly passed laws specifically targeting people of African descent. These laws denied them basic human rights, prevented them from owning property, testifying against white individuals, or even seeking legal redress. A pivotal development was the codification of partus sequitur ventrum in the mid-17th century, which decreed that the status of the child followed the status of the mother. This meant that any child born to an enslaved woman was automatically enslaved, ensuring a self-perpetuating labor force. These laws, often called black codes or slave codes, systematically dismantled any path to freedom or social mobility for generations of black people. To grasp the depth of this transformation, it is important to understand how these early colonial governments deliberately created a racial caste system. For example, by the late 1600s, laws were passed that prohibited interracial marriage, severely limited the movement of black individuals, and even allowed for the killing of enslaved people with little to no legal consequence for the enslaver. These legal structures were not accidental but carefully constructed to maintain social order and economic power. Unlike indentured servants, who served for a defined period and then gained freedom dues, enslaved black people faced a lifetime of forced labor with no hope of emancipation. A key concept here is the distinction between indentured servitude and chattel slavery. While indentured servants, often European, worked under a contract for a set number of years to pay off a debt or passage, they retained some legal rights and eventual freedom. Chattel slavery, however, rendered individuals as movable personal property, or chattel, to be bought, sold, mortgaged, or inherited, completely devoid of legal personhood. This transition was a calculated legal maneuver, not a natural evolution, establishing a system where race became the primary determinant of lifelong bondage. Colonial governments also exploited existing prejudices and the lack of strong diplomatic protections for African captives, unlike European laborers who could appeal to their home countries. Understanding this meticulously crafted system of laws and racial ideology is crucial to comprehending the roots of racial inequality in the United States. It reveals that chattel slavery was not merely an economic institution, but a deeply ingrained legal and social construct designed to create a permanent, racialized underclass. This history serves as a powerful reminder of how laws can be manipulated to dehumanize groups of people and establish enduring injustices that resonate for centuries. This was not just about labor. It was about defining personhood and consolidating power through the systematic denial of freedom and rights based on race.